All right, let's take a look at problem number 4. The volume of a rectangular prism is 840 inches cubed. If the area of the base is 60 inches squared, find its height. Draw and label a model to show your thinking. So I'm going to highlight what we are supposed to do. So first of all, I need to find the height of a rectangular prism, and I have to draw and label a model in order to show the thinking. So I want you to think way back to lesson 1. We learned how to draw a rectangular prism. So the first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to draw my model and I'm going to label it. And I want to remember, I'm going to circle up here the important numbers. Okay. So first, I'm going to draw my rectangle. Try and match this up as good as I can. And when you guys are doing this on paper, you don't have the luxury of having these little straight lines like this. And sometimes I forget that, oops, I have them. But it's kind of cool that we can do that. Yep, that's a little bit off, but for sake of time, I'm just gonna try and connect those, and they are a little bit off. I hear the critics out there. And so if this was a solid object, like, you wouldn't be able to see through. And I know that these are not like perfect lines, but we'll go there. Okay, so I'm going to shade the base. Okay, and I'm going to label that. The base is what it sits on, and that is 60 inches squared. Okay. Now, what do I know here? I know that the length times width times height is going to be the volume of an object, of a rectangular prism, I should say. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in these values. Well, my length and width are the base. Okay? And so another way that we could say this is the length and the width are the base. So it could be base times height. We could think of it as base times height equals the volume. So the base is 60 inches squared times the height equals 840 inches cubed. So how do I find the missing factor? Well, a lot of times when I see a big problem like that, I think of a little problem, and I'm just going to write an example out. So for example, if I had something like 4 times blank equals 20, you all could easily solve that because we think of a number bond, right? We have 20, and then 4 times what is 20? Well, 4 times 5, and we get that by dividing. So, and we would do the same thing here. We could set up our number bond. So 840 is made up of 60 times what? So let's go ahead and solve this using, I don't know if I'm going to have enough room there, so let me undo that. And so 840 divided by 60. So I know that 60 does not go into 800 without regrouping, but it does go into 84, and it goes in one time, right? If I count by 60s, I'm going to subtract, and this is, we can use our basic facts. Well, I know 6 goes into 24, so 60 would go into 240, and it goes in 4 times. And we end up with a remainder of 0. Okay, so that would leave us our missing dimension right there. So our height would be 14. Whoa, let me redo that. So this is our height, and it's going to be 14 inches. Okay, now we have to make sure that we label, right? So notice that I labeled the base as 60 inches squared, and I used those 2 little hashtags to do inches, but I'm going to erase that. I'm just going to write inches. And then I'm going to restate the question. So the height is 14 inches. And there we go.